Okay, this screencast is to assist all of our peer reviewers and our administrators that are engaged in PAR this year. Essentially what I've done is just digitize the same PAR rubric that everyone is used to using, but instead of having to go through and try to fit in your notes or highlight all over a piece of paper, this should be a little more user-friendly, and that now we can go into it, open it up, and type either right during or after an observation of a teacher, either during the informal or the formal period. So if you're looking at the screen here, what you're going to see at the very top, if you just follow the cursor, is a series of indicators. Some of the indicators that do not have drop-down menus are the name of the teacher, as there are just too many teachers to name individually, so that is something that you can type in yourself. We have the name of the peer reviewer, which if you open up the drop-down menu, I believe I've got everybody in there, so you can just go ahead and choose anybody, and then it will let you autofill. You can also choose the administrator if you are in fact the administrator doing an observation. Choose the campus in which the observation is taking place, type in the room number, the grade level, and then if you just click on the date, it'll actually bring up a calendar where you can select the appropriate date of the observation. And then finally, the last two sections are where you can go through and choose whether or not this is taking place in the fall or the spring of the next 2 years, and the type of evaluation, meaning is this an observation taking place of the self, peer, or administrator. So again, that will be indicated both in this section and in the section where you choose the appropriate name for yourself. Now, looking down, as I scroll down, literally this is the same rubric. However, this is the secondary version. So although it is the same full PAR rubric, the sections that are here that will not be applied to elementary or MIT as of yet are the real-life authenticity pieces and a couple other pieces. But again, this is the full PAR rubric. So let's say I'm doing an observation of a teacher during any one, the formal or informal period. The bottom line, the reason I created this document was not really to make our job easier as far as grading teachers, but really to give more accurate feedback to teachers. And really what's happened, we've all developed our own system of giving feedback. If we're not using the Marzano checklist, one thing that I've seen people do is go through and write up a series of notes, do journaling where they put in timelines, and give those notes back to teachers. And the problem with that is nothing really is specific to what the teachers are going to see in the rubric. And so rather, what we can do here, if let's say we are doing an observation and we notice something about how the teacher is assessing students either during or at the end of a lesson, well, I can take a look at the section of the rubric, and let's say I'm looking at a level 3 integrating for this section of assessment evaluation. Teacher evaluates assessment results to plan for individuals as well as group goals. Teacher uses data to improve student achievement. Formative and summative assessments are used. Well, perhaps I went in and saw a teacher doing a quiz on this day. Did the students actually go through and look at the results of that quiz? I don't know. But let's just say that I see something in there about the students participating in the interpretation of their goals. I can highlight that section of the rubric, and I can make sure that the teacher knows in my observation that I saw this. Did the teacher go through and use the data consistently to improve student achievement? Perhaps in a conversation I had with the teacher, I discovered that that happened. And again, I continue this process for any of the sections of the rubric that I find. Now, the part that will be helpful is not just in highlighting parts of the rubric for the teacher, but in adding effective notes. And the nice part about this is that on the hard copy of the rubric, the boxes are rather small and we can't really get many notes in there. Now, on this part of the rubric, I can literally write as many notes as I would like, and if I need to write a large section to explain why I've highlighted certain areas of the rubric, that's okay, because I can just continue to create more space and nothing bad will happen to the rubric. It will just scroll itself down. So again, this is something that is meant to be helpful. Now, if I just go back here and take away these processes and bring it back to a blank rubric, one of the things that I'm going to be doing for my evaluees, and that I'm going to encourage all of the peer evaluators for my evaluees to do, is to make sure that when you go through and leave your notes and highlight sections of the rubric, that not only do you immediately send this to the teacher and ask for feedback. When you do ask for feedback, what I would do is ask the teacher to take the document, this actual rubric that you are submitting to the teacher, and to comment in writing on your comments and to highlight certain sections of the rubric that they believe they've met during their lesson. So let's say that I've gone through and I've put in a bunch of notes in one of the sections. The peer can go in, and what I would ask the peer to do is to label a section called peer notes. I would ask them to create it in a different color, perhaps in red, and then they could respond to any of the notes in that section. In this way, what I can have is a continuous reflection from that teacher as to what they thought not only of their own lesson, but of the comments that I've given them and the feedback I've given them. So again, this is something I'm going to be asking all of the peers for teachers that I'm evaluating to do, but this is just a tool, an observational tool. It's not mandatory to use, and hopefully it will come in assistance, and it will create an easier job for all of us.